friends, my name is Becky and welcome back to Bountifully Blessed. Welcome to my garden corner today. We are inside of my apartment and right behind me I have my lovely greenhouse. Being in a small space, obviously I'm able to do a little less than you standardly can in a small space. However, having my lovely greenhouse here, I've got my lovely grow lights and I'm able to do a lot of really cool stuff. I actually start my seeds in here and I just have a blast. It's so much fun and it makes my heart very happy because it's right here in my living room space and my dining room space, and I get to look at it and have my fresh herbs. You can see my basil behind me. I'm actually propagating that at the moment, and I get to have lots of fresh herbs right there ready to go that I can use in my kitchen all the time and not have to go outside. And makes them a little less likely to get bugs. I still get bugs. Sorry about that. I actually just got a call. Anyways, so I still actually deal with bugs. You would be surprised when you get bugs. Still, I'm on the 3rd floor in an apartment and I still manage to get bugs up here. It's actually quite surprising, but where there's a will, there's a way. And if they smell any goodness, like what they're wanting to eat, obviously they will find it. So anyways, today's video, I wanted to chat with you about how to propagate tomatoes. So when I actually started my first garden video here on YouTube, I had mentioned how you can propagate tomatoes from the suckers of your tomatoes, and they'll grow roots and you can put them in the ground and have a whole new plant. But I wanted to explain a little bit in more detail of how that works. I actually have 3 different tomato plants here that I wanted to propagate, and I just wanted to kind of show you how this process works. It's actually really easy. Most things like this are really easy. Most of the time things just seem a little bit more daunting and scary, but at the end of the day, they're really not. Most things you can do very quickly and very simplistically. Most of the time we're just too afraid to try. So when you're actually going to propagate tomatoes, I have my tomatoes here. Don't mind the poor little leaves here. They have been in this water for quite a few weeks, and as you can see, they are getting stressed out. So these guys definitely need to be planted. But before I get them in the ground, I wanted to show you how this works. So as you can see all of those roots that are just sitting in the water here, and all those were started from just the way that tomatoes work. So when you're actually wanting to propagate tomatoes and you're wanting to prune off the suckers of your tomato plants, what you actually want to do is you'll have your main tomato. So you'll have your whole main tomato stem here. I'll take this guy out so I can show you what I mean. So you'll have your entire tomato plant, and then you have the whole main stalk right here, the main stem. And then all of the offshoots that don't produce fruit are referred to as the sun leaves, and they don't produce any fruit. All they are there for is so that they can work to be able to help the plant with the proper amount of sunlight. So when you actually have your tomato plants, what you'll see is you have the whole main stalk, which is the center stalk where the plant mainly grows, and then what you have are what is referred to as the armpit of the tomato. So you have your sun leaf here, if you can see that, your sun leaf here, and then the main stalk, okay? And in the middle of that, if you can see this little teeny tiny bloop, that is going to be a sucker. I have one on this one here that's growing. As you can see, there's one here. Remember, sun leaf here, main stem here. One is just starting to just slowly come in right there, little teeny tiny guy. So there's another sun leaf here that's grown on the main stem, and so on and so forth. So you've got the same thing here. This guy is growing upward. This guy is growing. This guy's growing. And then right here, you've got another little sucker that's going to produce a whole new plant. So with those suckers, if you were to let those continue growing, that would turn into a whole nother plant, which is actually how these guys came about. So I've got this one here. I've got this guy here. He's got tons of roots. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Because of the way that tomatoes grow. And same with this guy here. This one's the smallest one out of the bunch. And there's just tons of roots all along the stem there. So the tomato plant here, if I were to go to my regular tomato plant outside and I were to not let these little suckers that look like little teeny tiny leaves coming off of the sides in the armpits of the tomato, which is the sun leaf and the main stem, you'll see a new little plant starting to form right in the armpit at that 90-degree angle. Okay? That, if you were to let that continue to grow, then what you can do is you can prune that and put it in water like I've done with these ones, and they will continue to grow and they will start to produce roots. The cool thing with tomato plants is the tomato plant stems, because they are vining plants, they are designed to grow roots along the entire stem of the plant. So we actually have designed them to be able to help save space and make them less disease and pest resistant. I should say more disease and pest resistant, because if they're on the ground, they're more likely to get eaten and more likely to get diseases. So we've designed them to be able to go up a stake and to trellis them. And with that, obviously, allows us to be able to do different things with them, but it also allows us to be able to propagate them the way that we can here, because they'll just grow a root system off of the entire plant. So as you can see, this is how deep the water level goes on here. But if I were to prune the rest of these leaves off, which honestly, they're looking pretty sad because you can tell that these guys are a little stressed. They haven't been getting proper sunlight anymore because they've been in here for way too long, and they've got tons of roots. They're ready to go in the ground. They just need to get outside. But I'm gonna need to allow these guys to be hardened off first. I brought these guys from outside, but now that they've been in the house for so long, these new leaves that they're producing are very, very soft. They're very delicate, and they would get burned to a crisp if I let these guys go outside right now. So what I'd actually need to do is probably get these guys planted in some dirt first, and then I can start taking them outside for about a week or two, and then be able to get these guys in the ground. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have needed to do that if I was able to just let these guys get some roots really fast and then take them back outdoors. But unfortunately, that has not happened. I've not been able to get these guys outside as quickly as I would have liked, but I mainly wanted to be able to show you. I don't really need new tomatoes. I have plenty of them right now, but I wanted to be able to show you how propagating tomatoes is. It's very easy, and they'll produce roots off of that stem anywhere. So if I gave this guy much more space and water all the way up here, I could remove all of these lower leaves at the bottom, and the rest of it would start to grow roots as well, just like the rest of the plant has. So it's very, very fascinating what tomatoes are capable of. So that's how simple it is to propagate tomatoes. And if you have any questions for me, I would love to hear them. I am here for as much help as I can. I've been gardening since 2020, and I've been learning and growing as I go, and it's so much fun to learn, and I hope that I can share that knowledge with you too. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you are bountifully blessed. Have a wonderful night.